Let's turn our attention now to South Africa's economy. Its gross domestic product shrunk by 0.3% in the fourth quarter of 2016. More disappointing information coming through this time from Statistics South Africa. Now, overall, however, GDP growth in 2016 was even lower, just 0.3%. That's a hell of a lot lower than the 1.3% expansion we saw in 2015. The main contributors to that negative GDP print in the fourth quarter were declines in mining and coring as well as manufacturing. Commodities did show a declining trend. Mining and coring down 11.5% due to a decline in the output of coal, gold and other metals, including the platinum group metals as well. Manufacturing down by over 3%. That was brought down by a decline in the output of food and beverages, petroleum, chemical products, rubber and plastics, as well as motor vehicle parts and accessories of transportation equipment. The primary and secondary sectors, it's basically agriculture and manufacturing, declined by 9% and 1.8% respectively. Let's get the latest details now from Sumitra Naidu. She joins me now live from Johannesburg, South Africa. Sumitra, 0.3% GDP growth for the full year is pretty disappointing. What exactly went wrong here? And what is it that triggered that particular contraction in manufacturing and in mining beyond the factors we just mentioned?
Yes, Rama. Well, there were declines across a number of sectors, but as you said, it was really mining that was the big drag. Mining and coring fell 11.5% in the fourth quarter. Now, mining has been on a steady decline since October 2015. There's serious problems in this industry that's affecting production. There was a fall in manufacturing as well, a 3% drop here. We did see a strong rebound in the second quarter of the year, but it slumped again as a result of lower production in the food and beverage sectors as well as petroleum and chemical products. We also saw declines in the manufacturing of motor vehicles, which was very worrying as motor manufacturing is one of the areas that's usually lifting the numbers.
Indeed. Something else that of course caught our eye: agriculture, forestry, fishing. These have been declining for 8 consecutive quarters. Now, obviously the drought has something to do with a big chunk of that decline, but what effect has that had on net employment, especially in agriculture?
Well, yes, that's right. That was expected because of the severe drought, but the sector declined just 0.1% in the fourth quarter, suggesting that the impacts are tapering off, and economists expect a solid improvement going forward. And interestingly, during the drought last year, the industry surprisingly increased employment. If you look at the latest quarterly jobs numbers in South Africa, 38,000 jobs were created in the agricultural industry in the last 3 months of 2016. It's an important sector. Overall, there's close to 1 million people employed in this sector.
Indeed. Let's talk about that agriculture sector in just a bit more detail. Now that the worst of the drought is more or less over, it's pretty much behind us, what sort of support do farmers need to actually get production back up and running? And of course, even from the government side, how are they going to fund said support?
Well, the outlook is quite positive. There were concerns that this fall army worm would be a problem, but many of the farmers are planting GMO seeds, which are disease resistant, and of course against pesticides. Employment is expected to rise in this area. We're seeing significant job growth in the areas of livestock, horticulture, crop farming, game farming, as well as ocean and coastal fishing. Now, livestock, horticulture and crop farming are the largest contributors to agriculture's total labor force, employing around 64%. And government has committed around $423 million towards comprehensive agricultural support programs. And of course, this is after the drought. These include conditional grants to provide around 435,000 subsistence and smallholder farmers with equipment, fencing, fertilizers, seedlings and so forth. So there are quite a few programs on the go to really lift this agricultural sector, and it's really poised for some strong growth going forward.
Indeed. Looking forward to some green shoots coming through. Thank you for that. That's Sumitra Naidu, of course, live in Johannesburg, South Africa, giving us the lowdown, the breakdown, as it were, on the Q4 GDP data.